Hey guys, good morning. Mr. This is here. Today we're gonna continue to look at properties of circle. Today we're gonna look at tangent of a circle. So remember, tangent definition of tangent is a line that touches the circle only at one point, and the point where it touches the circle is called the point of tangency. So where it touches the circle only at one point. So that is a tangent. If you are a tangent to a circle, the line only touch the circle only at one specific point, and the point where it touches the circle is called the point of tangency. So we have a theorem that's saying that if two segments form the same exterior point are tangent to a circle, then they are congruent. In other words, they're telling you that you have tangent line BC. Line BC is a tangent to circle O, and we have line AC also tangent to circle O. If those two tangents meet, intersect at an exterior point, exterior means outside of the circle, they're telling you BC will have the same length as AC. They will be congruent. Whatever the expression that you have for BC, you have to equate it to AC. So let's break this down. So if you have two tangents that share the same external point, those two tangents will be congruent. So in this case, you have no choice to let those two expressions equal to each other. In this case, we have the blue circle as an example. So we go into what an equation. So we have tangent AB and we have tangent AD. Those two tangents meet the circle at the exterior point. Therefore, AD will be the same distance as AB. So when you're writing your equation to solve for x, you have no choice but to set those two equations as 2x plus 7 is equal to 5x minus 8. That's our equation. Now the only thing you have to do is to solve for x. So let's see how can we solve for x. In this case, you'll have to subtract 2x from each side. Usually you subtract the lesser variable from each side. Then you will end up with 7 equal 3x minus 8. In this situation, you will have to add 8 to each side. Your goal is to isolate the variable. Then you will have 15 is equal to 3x. And the last step, you divide both sides by 3. Then that will give you the value of x. In this case, x is 5. So let's justify that. So we find x is 5. So we can substitute 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 7 is 17. Therefore, the length from A to B will be 17 units. So if that's true, it has to be the same thing as that. So you'll have to take 5 times 5 is 25. 25 take away 8 is 17. As you can see, those two tangents have the same distance. That's what the theorem is trying to convey to you. If two lines, two tangents share the same external point, they will be congruent. So let's look at the red circle. So we have AB, which is a BD, which is tangent of that circle, and we have CD also, which is tangent of that circle. In this case, BD, whatever BD is, it will be congruent to CD. So in this case, you will have to write an equation and to solve for that expression. So in this case, your equation will be 5x squared. We have a quadratic equation is equal to 14. So in this case, you will have to subtract 9 from each side. You will have 5x squared is equal to 5. Since your goal is to solve for x, you will have to divide both sides by 5. In this case, you will have x squared is equal to 1. And the last step, you will have to take the square root. So when you take the square root of some name squared, you have positive and negative answer. In this case, since you're looking for distance, you only need the positive numbers because you don't want your distance to be negative. So in this case, it will be work. You can pick both answers because when you square negative number, it's going to be positive. In this case, both answers going to work. Both positive and negative one will be work. So whenever you have two outcome, you need to put in the equation to see if you're going to accept both answers or you're going to reject some of the answers. Alright, we're going to come back in another minute to do a couple more equations on the same property. Property of circle when you're dealing with tangent. Alright, we continue our lesson on how to deal with two tangents that share the same external point in a circle. Remember that if two tangents share the same external point in a circle, the tangent will be congruent. So we have an expression where you have x tangent xy, they give you an expression with 2x squared, and tangent xz is 8x. So in this case, we can conclude that xy is congruent to xz. So the equation will be 2x squared is equal to 8x. So what we can do, we want all of the variables to be on one side. We can subtract 8x on each side. Let this equation equal to 0. This becomes a quadratic equation. Minus 8x, and you let that equal to 0. So you can see what the common factor is. They have 2x in common, so you can factor 2x. This will be x, right, minus 4 is equal to 0. Then you have your two equations. If you remember that either you have 2x is equal to 0 or you have x minus 4 is equal to 0. So when you divide this by 2, therefore x is equal to 0. In this case, you need to add 4 to each side. In this case, x is equal to 4. Those are your two answers. So we're gonna test those answers to see if it's work. Right? So x cannot be 0. When x is 0, this is going to be 0. You don't need to be 0. So in this case, we reject the 0 answer. We cannot keep that. Since we're dealing with length, distance, if you let x be 0, this is going to be 0, this is going to be 0. So this is not right. So we're going to let x is 4. When x is 4, that will be 2 times 4 squared. Right? 4 squared is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. Therefore, this length will be 32. And 4 times 8 is 32. And that shows you that those two tangents are indeed congruent. Next problem. So we're looking at the red circle, and that are two tangents. So in this case, we know that tangent PM, which is represented by 6x plus 12, is congruent to tangent LM. So we're going to equate those two tangents equal to each other, then we solve to see what the mystery is. So we know that as in an algebraic expression, the equation will be 6x plus 12 is equal to 10x plus 4. In this case, we subtract the lesser variable. We subtract 6x on this side. Then you will have 12 is equal to 4x plus 4. Then we subtract 4 from each side. Then you will have 8 is equal to 4x. In this case, you divide by 4. In this case, x is 2. So when x is 2, you will have 2 times 6 is 12. You will have 12 plus 12. This will be 24. Km is 24. So when x is 2, that will be 2 times 10. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 plus 4 is 24. As you can see, it check out. So those two tangents are indeed congruent. That was Mr. Disease in property of circle, specifically in tangent. Go do some practice, do some work, share it, and make the grade. Peace out. That was Mr. Disease in another one.